Okay, so I don't have a presentation for this. I wanted to kind of leave this as more of like a Q&A. So how many people here are published on Google Play Books and Apple Books? All right, cool. So I'm talking to people who are wide. That's always good to know. So this is going to be, I don't know if it'll be advanced, but some more intermediate to advanced stuff. And I really want to give everyone time to ask questions. I hope to know the answer. I may not. If I don't know the answer, I'll ask if anyone in the room knows the answer, because I think when we talk to each other, that's what's really helpful for all of us. I also want to just add some disclaimers. Well, actually, I should say my name first. I'm Monica Leonelle. I have a series about um, different platforms, and it's targeted at authors. I have a book about Google Play Books and one about Apple Books as part of the Book Sales Supercharged series. I am not a rep for any of the retailers, but what I'm doing is just sharing things from an author perspective. The reason I wrote the books is because I noticed that there are probably like 1,000 to maybe even up to 10,000 books about how to market your books on Amazon, and there were none for the other platforms. So this was just a way to bring awareness that A, these other platforms exist, and also they have their own algorithms, they have their own quirks, and they have their own marketing promotional tools, and that we should be using them to sell more books. Sometimes so another thing, almost all the big five retailers are here. I'm not sure if Apple Books is, but I know Google Play Books is. Sometimes I say things that maybe contradict a retailer or something that a retailer rep said. A lot of that is really just because I'm speaking from an author's perspective and they are speaking from a company's perspective. So I always try to respect what they want, but and what they're, respect what they are asking us to do as authors, but I also want to be an advocate for authors and what we need. And, a lot of what our goal is to figure out how to get the most visibility for our books on that platform. And then a company might have, like, that's probably not their goal, right? So I think having these conversations as authors and working together, it really makes us more informed to talk to reps and to tell reps what we like, what we don't like. And so I hope that, we can take whatever is said here and be able to have just better conversations with retailer reps. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh, the last thing. So every retailer wants to understand how we as authors experience their platform. So I think anytime we can talk to them about that, both the positive and the negative, and build that relationship, especially the wide retailers, I think are very active in terms of taking in feedback and making changes and adding new tools. And especially in the last couple of years, they've become more active for many reasons. But I think it's really good to have those conversations, and also just to be kind, of course, be gentle with them. Okay, so the reason I have Google Play Books and Apple Books together, it's really because there's some similarities between the way the platforms function. There are also differences, but Google and Apple, as two companies, they basically own the mobile devices market. So you either have an iPhone or you have an Android, and that is true internationally. And so that positions these two companies, which are also two of the largest and most successful internet conglomerates in the world, it positions them uniquely to sell books. They don't own huge portions of the US market right now, but I do think they're growing. I think the reason that they're excited to grow is because of audiobooks. Both companies have investment in in-home and in-car devices, and all of that is going to be driven by audio. So I think they are very particularly interested in that aspect of our market, and because of that, hopefully want to invest in us as an industry. Yeah, I think we can leave it there. So what I thought I would do is go through some of the, I would say, intermediate techniques for each of the platforms. I'm assuming nobody here necessarily needs an overview of how to get onto the platform, though if we do, we can do that in questions. I wanted to just give that overview and then open it to questions so that we can see what people want to talk about. So with Google Play Books, there are 5 things that I think are important to authors. And I'll add that this is outside of the auto-narrated audiobooks piece. I'm happy to talk about that too in questions. I did a talk with Craig Price earlier today, so I think if some of you might have attended that, or you might watch it later. I think that's going to be the most robust thing that we've done about that at this conference. So I'm going to kind of leave that out of these 5. But the 5 things that you can do. So the first is optimizing your description. On Google Play Books, there are 5 pieces of metadata that are indexed through their, I guess, search engine. Those are title, subtitle, author name, series name, and description. And each keyword only counts once. So if you had the title Dragon, 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 that would only count as 1 dragon. So you need to know that. And that is different than some of the other platforms. The other thing about Google Play Books, in terms of descriptions, for years they encouraged authors to do kind of what I would call like a keyword block at the end of the description. And what it was, it would just be, other authors that were similar, other series that were similar, keywords that were useful. More recently, they've asked authors to stop doing that, basically, or recommended that authors stop doing that. Before you take your keywords out, I do want to say that I've looked into this and talked to other authors who kind of study this as well, and we can't really find any reason, we can't find any algorithmic reason to not have keywords. So the keywords still work, but there may be, and that's current. That doesn't mean Google Play might change that in the future. The thing I will say that I'm kind of recommending people to do is to look at your keyword paragraph and see if you can incorporate those same keywords into the description. Because the keywords still work, it's just the look of that keyword paragraph at the end that Google is not as fond of, it seems, at this time. So then the other thing there, yeah, I'll think of that if I have any more to say about that. Okay, so that's the descriptions. It's really, really helpful to do this. It's probably one of the most helpful things that people can do on Google Play is to optimize their description, because they are one of the only retailers that indexes the keywords. So the second thing is discounts. So this is something, I think it's more recent. It's probably within the last 6 months to year. Google Play has a couple prominent carousels on their homepage and some other pages. And the gist of it is that it's called the recent price drops carousel. And sometimes it's labeled other things, so you kind of have to look at the store. But what indie authors are doing is basically having your book at whatever the normal price is. Let's say it's $4.99, and then using the price promotional tools. So don't change the price. Add a price promotion. Basically, using the price promotional tools to drop that amount to I guess. It could be like $2.99 or $1.99 or 99 cents, I think. So dropping that to a 99-cent book. So the recent price drops, I think it I think it's probably if the price has dropped in the last 30 days. So what authors are doing is they're either rotating through their catalog, if they have a catalog, and having the 99-cent price drops on like book 2, then book 3, and so on. For about 30 days, or they are just kind of deleting that promotion and then doing another one, and then it gets added to the carousel again. So that has been one way to get visibility, just because that carousel is kind of prominent right now. All right, the third thing, there's automated series bundles. So this one's I would say it's probably less visibility than the other two. Like if you're going to do anything, the first two are really, the important ones. The automated series bundles, basically if you have all your series metadata correct. So with that being, what that means is like it's the same exact series title, all the characters are the same. That's very important on Google Play Books. Then Google will do automatic discounts. So let's say you had a 12-book series and you had all of them published on Google. They will do automatic discounts at, and again, it's automated. It's at, it's not necessarily at this. It kind of ranges, but an example would be like 2 books, 4 books, 6 books. So like at 2 books, you might, the reader can get 5% off if they buy 2 books out of the series. At 4 books, it might be 10% off, and then at 6 books, it might be or 20% off. So that would be an example. It's done automatically. I'm not sure if authors still get paid the full amount, so I'm not sure if Google is kind of subsidizing that. Another thing, well, I'll do the rest of the series stuff. So Google, to me, seems very focused on series. One of the other things they're doing in beta right now is series bundles. And so the same way you can go to their promotional tab and do price discounts on single titles, a couple people, not me, but other people, are in their beta for series bundles. So you're able to do a discount on a series bundle. So you could have a promotion that's like 50% off that series bundle. They're also launching series subscriptions. I don't think this is out yet. I've seen it on a couple very popular books. I don't think it's rolled out to everyone. The series subscriptions is really interesting. I think it probably stems from the comics industry, like the manga industry, just because those readers tend to read, they tend to read in issues and volumes. And so what it is that eventually, whenever they launch this, you will be able to, readers will be able to subscribe to your entire series. So as long as you have all the metadata correct, as long as you're not missing books, because I think missing books can disqualify you for this, and I believe as long as you have at least 2 books in the series, they will eventually, again, I don't think this is fully launched, they will add a button where that reader can subscribe to your series. And so what that means is that if you put up a new book for pre-order, when that book launches, the reader will automatically buy it, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of a way to get pre-orders at those stores. If you do comics, I think it's really cool because I think those readers do tend to, things end on cliffhangers. I don't read it, but I think that readers tend to really like that. That is going to be launching in Australia, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, South Africa, the UK, and the US. And I don't know the date on that. Okay, so there was something else, but we'll come back to it. All right. So that's Google Play Books. I'm gonna switch to Apple Books and do 5 from that, and then I'll open the Q&A. So with Apple Books, one of the best things that you can do on there is have free books. So it's kind of the more the better. Was anyone here publishing on Amazon in 2012? All right. So you remember how if you had a free book and you got like about 10 downloads, that was basically the equivalent of a single sale. And it was really helpful because you could drop your book to free, you could run up the charts basically, and then you could set it back to paid, and you would be selling a bunch of books. So Apple Books, the last time I checked, it kind of still has that ratio. So I don't know the exact number, but it's somewhere like now Amazon is like you need at least 100 downloads to equal one sale. So that strategy is not effective at all. On Apple Books, it's probably about 5 to 10 downloads, somewhere around there, is worth about one sale. So that's why free works pretty well on that retailer specifically, because if as you're getting those downloads, it's moving your series, up in the charts, and then people are finding it easily, and then they're going on to read the rest of the series. So short term discounts are good. So like you want to set a book free for a month, that could be helpful. Just having more free books is really good as well. Some of the authors that are selling consistently there with their backlist, they have every series has a first in series free. And I've seen authors who have like 20 free books just because they have a huge backlist, and they're selling more consistently on Apple because of that. Similar to Google Play Books, Apple, they index keywords from metadata, and these are the only two retailers that do this. So you have a lot of control over how well you show up in search as a result. So on Apple Books, again, they index title, subtitle, author name, series name, and description. Unlike Google Play Books, where each of those 5 things, the keyword only counts once. On Apple, it counts many times. So if you, for example, want to rank for dragon romance, you could have your title of your book be dragon romance, and your series title be dragon romance, and then you could put dragon romance in the description as many times as you can kind of organically put it in there, and you're probably going to rank pretty high in search for dragon romance. I tested this, and so this isn't really like a hard and fast rule, but I kind of tested this on a couple books because I got the question, well, what if my title is not Dragon Romance, but I want to rank for Dragon Romance and I can't change my title? If you put the keyword in the description about 5 times, so if you can get, dragon or dragon romance or whatever, kind of looking nice and organic in your description, then you can overcome not having it in the title and the subtitle. So this is a really very, very few authors kind of even know that this is a way to rank in the search. So this is a really, really good trick. So definitely go look. On Apple Books, especially if you have a free book, the way their search works is if you type in free dragon romance, it'll show everything that ranks high on dragon romance that has a price of 0. So it takes that free and it knows that it's talking about price, so it'll filter on that. So that's a good way to get visibility for your free books. It's also a good way to get better visibility for your paid books there. So if you have a whole series, getting that series higher in their search rankings for your keywords is really helpful. They also, unlike Google Play Books, so Google Play Books does almost no merchandising. So that when Google says, don't do the keyword block, I do think that take those keywords and get them more organically into our descriptions. But I also don't know that there's a huge urgency, especially if you have a huge backlist. It's not like you need to go do that like this week. You can kind of do it over time because they don't do a lot of merchandising. So nobody's actually looking at your book to make sure you don't have that. On Apple Books, though, they do not allow that keyword block, and it's important because they do a lot of in-store merchandising. So if you are up for one of their promotions and they see that block, they might reject it. With the in-store merchandising, does everybody have... So I'm not allowed to give away the form information, but do people have that? Does everybody know how to get in-store merchandising there? Okay. So yeah, if you don't, one of the best ways is to attend their webinars. They'll often give the form and the email address at the end of that. Also, if you know another author and you have the catalog for it and that sort of thing, you can do that too. You can just ask. The other thing is that Draft to Digital does a lot of promotions with and for Apple Books and organizes that, and that can be a better way to go about it and to get into some of those promotions. The promotions can be really good. I've heard from author friends, not myself, but I've heard from author friends getting onto the platform and making like 13 grand their first month because they had really, really good in-store merchandising. So they were just kind of hand selected for some stuff. So that is a big way that authors start to gain traction there. The other thing is BookBub. So the way Apple Books algorithms work, it's pretty similar to Amazon's. Basically, if you can get enough like download sales in over a certain period of time, it shoots you to the top of the store. It's a lot easier to hit the top 100 on Apple Books. There's a lot less competition. So pretty much if you have a BookBub, you will be at the top of the US charts and possibly the UK charts as well. So the charts that BookBub serves, that's true for a free book. It's true for a 99-cent book. Lots of people are like, yeah, but what if I can't get a BookBub? So you can actually kind of create your own promotion stack if you can't get the BookBub. So using those promo newsletters is really important for Apple Books, just because it works so well to get you visible in that top 100, top 500, or even at the top of your category. So maybe you're not hitting top 100 of the whole store, but you're hitting top 100 of horror or fantasy or sci-fi, somewhere around there. That can be very helpful. Does everyone know how to do those promo stacks with newsletters? So basically you would just get like a Robin Reads or like a written word media, like Free Booksy, Bargain Booksy, and get a couple of those within a short period. And you should be able to hit top 100, top 500 in Apple Books Store. So another thing that works is pre-orders. So there's a couple carousels on Apple that are, I think they're mostly labeled coming soon, but they're very prominent in the store. Those books appear in reverse order. So the books that are 12 months out are the ones that appear first. And so you'll see indie authors, they'll have a series, maybe books 1 through 3. They'll have books 4, 5, and 6 on pre-order, and let's say they're coming out every 3 months. So they might have one pre-order for March, one pre-order for June, but then that third pre-order they push out to the 12th month. So it would be like December, and then as book 4 comes out and they put book 7 pre-order up, then they make book 7 the one that comes out 12 months from now, and they move book 6 up. So I don't know if that makes sense, but basically always have a pre-order out 12 months because it brings a lot of visibility to your series, if you're doing a longer series. And you don't need a cover. You'll see in the store, you'll see a lot of like just black covers with text on them. So the author's going to do a cover reveal. But yeah, that 12 months, it can work really well to bring visibility. So those are probably my top Apple Books and Google Play Books tips. I'm going to open it to questions now. So what do you want to talk about?
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any more information on the merchandising deal with Draft to Digital and Apple?
With Draft to Digital and Apple, what do you mean?
Just more info on how that
Oh,
works or how
sure.
to, yeah.
Yeah, so you put your books on Draft to Digital and you can select which retailers you want to go to. So you can go direct with really anything else and then go through Draft to Digital with Apple. So with Draft to Digital, you get on their I guess promotions newsletter, and whenever they have a promotion for Apple Books and your book qualifies, then you can submit it, and then usually they'll just send that to Apple. So it's a little bit easier to get into, basically. Again, if you are going direct and you attend one of their webinars they happen pretty frequently, we can see if Why for the Win will do some more. I will look into that. But yeah, then you can get the form and the email address as well to try to submit it direct. They do tend to, I think it is a little bit easier to get the promo through Draft to Digital, especially if you haven't gotten it before. Like if you get them regularly, then, sure, you can go direct. But, Draft to Digital, they also take a percentage. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
You said earlier that I believe it was Barnes and Noble readers are very choosy with because they're paying slightly higher prices often. And I've noticed with Google Play readers, they tend to buy, and I don't know if this is just me, they tend to buy clusters of books, and Kobo readers tend to buy box sets of books. Is there anything with Apple readers that tends to stick out about them that sets them apart from the other stores?
I don't know of anything with Apple Books that they're like focused on bundles or anything like that. I know that Google Play Books is they seem to be pretty committed to doing more with series and launching more features around series. I think it's because they have a good business in Japan and Korea where serialization and fiction apps and that sort of thing is just growing and growing. So I think they've tested a lot of stuff in Japan and Korea first, and then they're bringing it over to the U.S. And hoping that that model works, especially maybe for younger author or younger readers. Yeah, so I think that readers do like to buy in bundles. I think that's what some of the retailers are picking up on. I don't know that Apple Books has necessarily made changes to their store at this time. The only thing I know of is they have kind of their end of book experience where if somebody does get into the first book in your series and they read it, they will be directed to the second book through the reading app and just through the app in general. And that's really all I know of. So,
Awesome,
yeah.
thank you. And do
Yeah.
do you know if the readers themselves tend to like if they have a particular pattern that they usually buy in, or are they more like Barnes and Noble readers, or
Um, so yeah, you mean whether they buy books one by one, you mean, or?
yeah, so or like clusters or box sets or
I think on Apple Books there might still be limits to um, that upper level in terms of royalties. So I don't know that authors are necessarily testing a lot of that. I know Google Play Books, I think, and Google Play Books, Barnes and Noble, and Kobo have lowered that upper limit of like, hey, if you go past this price, we're going to drop your royalties. So I think there's 70. I think those three are 70% royalties, kind of across the board. Maybe not at the 99-cent level. So yeah, I haven't heard of anything specific there.
Thank you.
So yeah, no problem.
Hi.
Hello.
So this is a potentially unanswerable question, but do you think that it makes more sense to pursue translations that would potentially appeal to the more international market, or to pursue English language audiobooks that you would be selling on these platforms, if you were only going to do one or the other?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I have like a specific recommendation that would be applicable to everyone. I think it really depends on your list, like your backlist, your budget. Yeah, I don't know. I do think so personally. I think if you do audiobooks or translations, I think it's worth it to be wide in them. I will say that. I know some people do KU for translations, and it is easier. And there are like the Amazon bonus structure was just kind of restructured to include KU bonuses for all the countries on single titles. So there's some of that, but the bonuses are smaller. But there's just so much opportunity wide, especially with Kobo. Again, like Apple Books and Google Play Books, they own the device market. So I think that they have just so much more opportunity to build audience in other countries, especially countries that are very mobile focused. And then Kobo, I think, just has these incredible international partnerships that are worth, I think you want to be there when those kind of take off in various countries. That's my opinion. I know some people are fine in KU, happy in KU, but I do think that there's just so much more opportunity wide.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So we have 11, looks like 11 and a half more minutes. I'm happy to stay here if people think of questions, but otherwise I have nothing more to present, but all right.